we would like to thank Gulfstream Park for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming events here at Capital OTV. Gulfstream Park's championship meet runs now through March 30th with high-quality action throughout, including the Florida Derby on Saturday, March 29th.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Sunday morning. Apologies for the delayed start. That was on me, but we are underway currently. Let me remind you that today here at the Clubhouse Racebook Football Sunday, and it's a playoff time, so come on down and enjoy football action right here. Clubhouse Racebook, grab a lunch, watch the racing, enjoy the afternoon. You know, our man out in the control room, Anthony, must be happy after yesterday's action on Prime. Were you able to watch on Prime?
Yes, I was.
I assume he would work something out. Big Ravens fan. So again, you can swing down and continue watching here on Sundays. Playoff action underway. Yesterday, kind of late on the stakes action. We talked a little bit yesterday with Jason Bean down at Tampa about their stakes, and they had a nice little stakes start. A couple nice stakes at Gulfstream, the ladies at Aqueduct. So again, it was a little light overall stakes-wise. That'll kind of pick up. There's a big weekend this coming week at Fairgrounds, and then of course Pegasus the following week. So things will heat back up again. This is just a little early elaboration on the stakes schedule. Speaking of next week, I do want to remind you that next Saturday here at the Clubhouse Racebook, Naira calendar giveaway. So if you'd like to swing down and enjoy the racing action, but get yourself a Naira calendar, that's next Saturday here at the Clubhouse Racebook. The first 75 paid admissions will receive a Naira calendar, and it's a good-looking edition with lots of great shots in month by month. So keep that in mind for next Saturday, right here, Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. In the calendar giveaway, and I have one right here. And as I said, it is a very nice edition of the calendar with plenty of. Oh, I wonder what the picture is. I just leafed through when I was handed it about a week ago, and I was feeling a little. There you go. Jill with Belmont Stakes back up here. It's Dornock winning last year's Belmont at Saratoga, so very appropriate. But again, that's next Saturday, the Naira calendar giveaway. All right, speaking of Naira, let me alert again. I assume everybody's aware at this point, but just update. Turfway has canceled this weekend. They had snowy weather down in Arkansas, so Oaklawn has canceled the weekend. And Santa Anita with the wildfire situation, they're also taking the weekend off. Now, Friday, they were off at Santa Anita with air quality issues. And Friday, they were anticipating racing Saturday and Sunday. But yesterday morning, they announced no racing this weekend at Santa Anita. And it seems like it's more, they've become kind of a staging area for the utilities. There's a little more of that involved than maybe the situation with the wildfires. That maybe playing into their thinking a little bit, but they have become a staging area. And then I read also in one of the racing publications that they have essentially a donation center set up there, so people can come donate, essential items that people might need, and people who need them can come, and so they're kind of at Santa Anita doing their part, and good on them for that. So again, no racing today. Turf Lake, Oaklawn, Santa Anita. But there'll be plenty of racing this afternoon on OTV Live, and one of the tracks we'll focus on is Aqueduct. And yesterday at Aqueduct, the feature came early in the car. It was only a 5-horse field, but kind of an intriguing bunch in here in the ladies. And I said yesterday, I need to look it up. I think it's one of the oldest stakes races in the country, if I'm not mistaken. But it has lost some of its luster. It's an ungraded stakes now. $150,000 up for grabs, so Phillies and Mariners going 9 furlongs. I had Tizzy in the Sky on top, with Julia Shining, the sibling to Malabat was interesting. Tizzy in the Sky is the number 1 horse, Julia Shining the number 5 horse. And again, it was a 5-horse field, originally scratched down to a field of 4, but it is Tizzy in the Sky under Kendrick Caramouche getting it done. Chart margin is going to wind up to be 3 lengths. Running second will be Julia Shining. Dylan Davis was in town and on board her. Third was comparative to the Vincius Liam. Fourth, but at $3.30, Tizzy in the Sky got it done. Tizzy in the Sky and Julia Shining, both Todd Fletcher trainees. So for a Fletcher exacta, couple of bucks on the exacta, got you $7.20. A little chalky, but you walk away more than tripled your money, I suppose, but what seemed like maybe an obvious exacta. So maybe there was some value there if you're thinking in that direction. I wouldn't necessarily argue with that. Post-race, there was some thoughts from the ownership of Tizzy in the Sky. They're going to breed this year. So they're kind of deciding potentially to go to the Grade 2 Azeri down at Oaklawn on March 8th. That would be the last race, though, and then off to the breeding shed. So puts a nice little line of black tape on the resume with the ladies yesterday. On the way to the breeding shed, albeit with potentially one more start, which could add some nice grading. Black type in the catalog down at Oaklawn. So we'll see, but that was a nice win yesterday. Again, scratch reduced field. Small field to begin with, and then scratch reduced. But it was looked like she was going to run well and potentially win, and did so. Down at Gulfstream, again, a couple of interesting little stakes. The Sunshine Philly and Mayor Turf, $75,000 up for grabs for the state breds, going them out on the grass. My top 2 flip-flopped. I had Great Venezuela on top and Ashima in the second spot, but it will be Ashima getting it done under Jaramillo. Great Venezuela under Lionel Reyes runs second. Again, I had these 2 flip-flopped. I'm kind of surprised. I had them 1-2, and my top pick, Great Venezuela, was 6-5, and I thought, logical player. But I thought the 6 horse here, Ashima, was also kind of logical. I looked at away at 7-1. So there was some value to be had here. $17 on top for Ashima, and the exacta was just under $40. Again, it was my top 2 flip-flop in there. Running third was number 3, Princess Bikina. Mary Quay Contrary was a little bit interesting. I had that one in the third spot. I'd never tried the turf before, but a solid stakes performer, now 6 years old, 6-year-old mare, but over $700,000 in the bank. And interesting on the move to the grass, trying the grass in there, but all of that said, Mary Quay Contrary. At 7-1, the betting public wasn't convinced on the surface switch, and the horse wound up running 5th in there. But a nice win for Ashima. Interesting, you look at the PPs. A clever claim claimed back in November down at Gulfstream for $8,000. So that's not bad. Had a subsequent win in an optional claimer. Claimed in November, comes back in December, wins an optional claimer, so puts a little money in the bank and immediately pays dividends off the $8,000 claim. And then they come back, second start off the claim, nice win for $75K in a little stakes race. So very good. And also, according to the post-race info I read, and I'm assuming Gulfstream will say, well, that would be Mike Welch's article. The trainer's only horse at this time. It's also a little bit interesting. He said in the article, I have some horses that are on the way. Well, right now, we only have a horse in the barn, essentially. Ashima getting it done, again, as a Clever playing for 8K, and they picked up the better part of 75K yesterday in stakes action. Also, on the stakes side of things, yesterday down at Gulfstream, it was the Sunshine Classic. Again, stake breds going a mile and 60 for $75,000. Um, I like Secret Chat. Secret Chat went up to 2-1. Is going to wind up running third. The winner is going to be number 9, Lightning Tones. I did not use that one. Got a little action at 6-1. One Sharp Cookie at 6-1 runs second in here. One Sharp Cookie ahead of the bottom line next. So I was not on board this one. The betting public, you got a couple of 6-1 shots, so the betting public kind of have in the mix. And then, as I say, the favorite ran third in here. But Lightning Tones, it was a nice win because Lightning Tones got away essentially last after hitting the gate. So after the start for this horse to get that nice win by daylight, it's over a length and a quarter from track margin. That was a pretty good looking win there for the connections. And another one, you look down the PPs, was claimed in July for 16K. And subsequently went a close up second. And in the most previous start to this, we had third. So second and third off the claim, and then the third start off the claim. Picks up a little dough, $75,000, the better part of $75,000, a winner's share in the third start off the claim. So again, a couple of little stakes races yesterday at Gulfstream, both won by horses that were recent on their resume anyway. I mean, the first winner we talked about was November. That is fairly recent. This one we just looked at was in July, but it was only 3 starts back on the resume. But it turns out, as I said, clever, a couple of clever claims there. Over to Tampa. Tampa probably had the most interesting stakes action yesterday. Anyway, Jason Beamon talking about it. And the kind of the highlight was the Pascal, because this time of year we're thinking about 3-year-olds taking their steps potentially on the Derby Trail. So always interested in 3-year-old stakes races. And this is going to be very interesting because the favorite at 1-2 is Owen Almighty, Brian Lynch runner that started the career with a couple of wins, including a stakes race at Ellis, and then wound up running second in the Iroquois at Churchill behind Jonathan's Way. And that's the 6 horse who's pulling away here. Running second is Naughty Rascal. Jason yesterday flipped Naughty Rascal. Gerald Bennett horse. I thought that one was interesting as well. And then running third, the number 2, Very Bold. I had Owen Mighty as probably the one to beat, as did obviously the betting public at 1-2. Second choice was Naughty Rascal. Rookie Card was also a little bit interesting, the 4 horse. Rookie Card winds up running 5th in here, but stewards took a look, and we'll have a shot here coming up of what they looked at. It was going into the far third, and Owen Almighty is right there knocking Rookie Card into the rail. And you can see Rookie Card is just kind of fades back at that point. So the stewards took a look. There was some consternation on social media. I think there were. I won't say it was probably 50-50. Let me put it that way. I think some people thought the horse was justified coming down, some people didn't. Maybe it was a little more than 50-50 before coming down. Looking at it, I thought the horse probably deservedly should have come down. And people say, oh, the horse on the rail wasn't up in there. Well, on the head-on shot, it maybe doesn't look good. If you look at the pan angle of the horse is up in there pretty well. And so, to come over and then bounce him off the rail like that, that would have been, one that I think was hard to justify not making the switch. But all of that said, Owen Almighty then it's put down behind Rookie Card. Rookie Card in fifth. So Owen Almighty got taken down from the win to fifth. So a little bit disappointing. Excuse me, for those that supported Owen Almighty. The trainer, Brian Lynch, was kind of philosophical after the race. He said, I looked at it and I kind of get the DQ. So disappointing there. But the actual running of the race, I think, says we have a horse who's in good shape here, making the 3-year-old debut after a promising 2-year-old season. So I think he's was happy with the performance, and happy to have that performance going forward as step number one on the in the 3-year-old season. But again, it was maybe a little bit disappointing overall. They didn't pick up the first money, and for the better, certainly a little bit disappointing to be back Owen Almighty. That said, Naughty Rascal for Gerald Bennett does get moved up, a horse that was interesting playable. Again, Jason was talking about that one yesterday. It's Gerald Bennett, perennially a leading trainer down at Tampa, and he was interviewed after the race and kind of thought, we have one that I think can knock heads with the big boys here, and he said and feels that Naughty Rascal, they get better the longer they go. And under the weather, the chart margin wound up to be a length. Naughty Rascal gave Owen Almighty all he could handle, all he could ask for until the eighth hole, maybe inside the eighth hole, and then Owen Almighty turned out to be the best, albeit before the DQ. But again, if Naughty Rascal, if Gerald Bennett's right, and the longer is better, that one maybe has a little room to improve even. So again, a little, let's just say controversy. I don't know whether that's I think it's too strong a word, but a situation that you'd rather not see. You'd rather see a race won and lost fair and square, and no inquiries or DQs, and that wasn't the case in the past. So, but I think both of the top two, you walk away feeling like, all right, if I liked them before, I can still support them. And the horse, obviously, that maybe there's still a question mark about his Rookie Card, who is the one who got jammed up on the rail and then just faded back as Junior Alvarado just kind of took care of the horse after that situation. But given what we've seen so far from Rookie Card, interesting to see where he goes next and what he does next, but I'm sure it will be a solid performance because what we've seen so far was solid. And he was right there when it all happened. Again, we'll learn more about him in the next race. Fifth at Tampa yesterday, the Gasparilla. $150,000 for the 3-year-old fillies going 7. Winning You're In was interesting to me. Mrs. Worldwide coming in for Brian Lynch up a win in the Sandpiper right at Tampa on December 7th with Irad Ortiz on board. And by the way, Irad Ortiz was on board the DQ horse in the previous race we looked at. So it was a tough afternoon for Irad as Mrs. Worldwide, the 6-5 favorite, winds up 4th. But the winner here, Dancing Magic, number 2, Junior Alvarado on board, wins Milky Way 3 second, and Winning You're In, a horse I thought was interesting, 3-1, runs 3rd. But Dancing Magic, 3rd place finish last time behind Mrs. Worldwide in the Sandpiper. Obviously improves on that notably at 7-2, so you got $9 there. Wins Milky Way at 6-1 second, but the horse that you come away with, looking at is obviously Dancing Magic, 2-length chart margin under the wire, and with 6 starts. There were 3 horses with 6 starts, so one of the more experienced horses in the field. Stakes place, but came in with only 1 win, the Maiden Breaker, which was a debut effort up at Hawthorne. You always have to appreciate when horses break their maiden in the debut. Subsequently, 3 stakes prize, a couple of optional claiming prize, and he's been in the money overall 4 times going into yesterday. So now 7 starts, a couple of wins, including the stakes win, a couple of seconds on the 3rd. So Dancing Magic, a little bit interesting. I don't know whether I'm feeling like anybody's coming out of this And I haven't seen any numbers yet, but I don't know just on the face of it whether I'm feeling like it's coming out of that race with anybody that I'm super excited about. Again, the Pasco, I think there's some horses that maybe worth at least taking a look at in their next start or two. This is Westboro. I'm not really remember with the field of the finishing runners. In the final stake at Tampa for the afternoon, it was the wayward last mile in 16 for Phillies and Mayors. Um, I took a little shot in here with American Retro, who was 10-1 on the morning line. Eventually went off at 9-2, so took a little action. But winds up fourth. American Retro's the number 4 horse. Little Jamie, number 8, gets it done in here and does it at 92. Penwater, who I thought was interesting, went off as the favorite. The 1 horse runs second, and Dream Concert runs third. So it is Little Jamie getting it done for Robbie Medina, former assistant to Shug, and does it again. The chart margin there, so late in the quarter. It was tight, second and third, a nose and nose between second, third, and fourth. But Junior Alvarado on board, $11.60 for Little Jamie getting it done. Soon be a so it's definitely info on that. And again, I haven't seen numbers on the day yet as far as pilots or the various state choices. But I Pasco seems interesting. We shall see. All right. We should see how proficient some of these other stakes winners are coming out of these stakes and moving forward. But it was, overall a nice day of stakes action down there. I'm just not sure. We saw stellar performances or horses that we're going to be keyed on going forward. I mean, the horse in the Pasco was, as I said, a little bit interesting, and keep our eyes on that one. All right, again, the late stakes day yesterday, partially due to a number of tracks being closed. So there was the stakes of interest anyway, and we'll take a break now, have some news and notes. And I'll do a little handicapping too for this afternoon. We'll take a look this afternoon. I'll take a look at some Aqueduct and some Gulfstream. So we'll take a break, do a little handicapping, the news, and more. All of that right after this. So stay tuned.
Clear. Right.
What? Good. A couple bucks down the street. Well, did you go to get me? Oh no, we haven't agreed on that. No, I said I'd let you know. No. Thanks for doing it, but no. Yeah, okay.
$30 seconds. $15. Stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. Again, as I said, there was news out of Santa Anita yesterday. They canceled because of air quality on Friday, and then early yesterday they said they were canceling the weekend. But there was some follow-up articles in some of the publications. And it was interesting. They do have a nice article that says, again, a staging area for the utility companies, but also they have kind of become a. There were some folks who started something at the Rose Bowl with some food trucks and whatnot to, benefit people who were, maybe displaced because of the fires out there. And the Rose Bowl then became a staging center for some other utilities and whatnot as well. So these food truck people got moved out, and Santa Anita had some space, so they moved there, and then it got tied in, and it's become a donation center. He says this all started out wanting to give hot dogs out to the local community of Pasadena that were victims of the fire. Originally, this was only supposed to be a couple of hundred hot dogs, and it turned into their pictures of donations and clothes and food and water and diapers and that kind of thing. So that's the situation currently at Santa Anita. And, like I said, good on Santa Anita, good on the folks who are behind the efforts as well. And boy, you look at the news and walk out there, certainly. This was interesting, an article, and I would say, you can go check it out at TDN by T.D. Thornton, the writer, the Thoroughbred Daily News. You can check it out. The last few weeks, I had a couple of weeks ago the year-end numbers from Equibase, handle numbers, and number of races, starters per race, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's declines, and people are kind of hand wringing a little bit online, and the demise of the sport and whatnot. And I think, you know, I say it all the time when we look at those numbers, month by month, during the year, quarter by quarter. They depend on a lot of different things. Like this year's numbers or this quarter's numbers, you have to, January numbers, the first quarter, you have to factor in. This weekend, the game overall took a big hit with the number of popular tracks not running. So there are a number of factors, but it's worth looking at those numbers, and there are reasons for concern. T.D. Thornton, though, came in from a different angle that I hadn't ever read before. Kind of interesting. This is a little eye-opening as well. He talks about the number of thoroughbred trainers and decline there. And he has a 4.2% decline number of trainers that were active in 2024 as compared to 2023. 2024, we had 3,886 trainers. 2023, 4,058. So a little decline. But as he goes down further in the article and compares it to years past, from 5 years ago, a 21% decline. From 10 years ago, almost 38% decline. And from 20 years ago, almost a 58% decline in the number of trainers, which is it's kind of mind-boggling. As I say, it's a different angle that I hadn't quite seen written anywhere else. But you can catch it over at Daily News and go through the whole article yourself. But again, I hadn't really, I guess I hadn't really thought about that kind of an aspect. But that's another barometer on the game, certainly. Numbers for Aqueduct's winter meet, just keep you up to date on where we are, who's doing what, faces to watch. On the jockey side of things, I've said it for a few weeks now, really, but the last few days, last week or so, Kendrick Carmouche having a very good winter meet down at Aqueduct. He currently leads the jockeys the winter meet with 10 wins. Jose Lizcano has 8. Manny Franco and Eric Cancel with 6. Romero Mirage, 4. A couple are tied with 3. Louis Rivera Jr. and Chris Elliott. Dylan Davis has a couple, but he was in New York yesterday, but otherwise he's been down in Florida, and he's worth watching down there. Sahid Sabachi, a couple of wins also. And I continue to say, I'm going to be interested to see how it plays out. But I think Savatgy, who was increasingly the leading rider up at Woodbine when the season ended, he was one too. Um, and Sophia Vivas, who wound up, I think, fourth at Woodbine. She's spending the winter down here. I'm going to be interested to see how both of those Woodbine trains go. I've been saying for a week and a half or so, keep your eyes on them, and they haven't really broken out. And it's tough when you're a regular on another circuit to come in and then you have to make the connections and whatnot. But I still think they'll do all right. All of that said, Kendrick, I think, is absolutely going to do all right. Jose Luciano, maybe Franco, obviously, as well. But Kendrick will be interesting for the winter, it seems like. On the trainer side of things, Linda Rice, who started 2025, I think I said last week in her first 11 starters, I think it was 7 wins in 2 seconds. Just crazy numbers. But she leads the trainers. Linda Rice on top with 10 wins at this winter meet. Rudy and Horacio De Paz each with 3. And then there's a number that had 2. Bill Sacco, Chris Engelhart, Martin, Todd Fletcher, George Weaver, Jeremiah Engelhart with 2 to round things out. So there you're, on top. Linda Rice and Kendrick Carluch currently on top on the jockey side of things and the trainer side of things. Why don't we take another break, and when we come back, I will take a look at Lake Pick 5 down at Gulfstream this afternoon. Just toss out some ideas there for a Sunday afternoon. See if we can all make a little money with that Lake Pick 5 or some of the races within the Lake Pick 5. So again, we'll open up the PPs and dive in right after this. Stay tuned.
Clear. Thirty seconds. $15. Stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. All right, let's jump in. Again, don't have scratches yet. They won't come out for a little bit. I don't believe. Let me actually double check that. Typically, scratches are an 11 o'clock thing for most crabs, but I will double check that. And if they're up now, I will alert as we roll through. Yeah, it looks like we had at least some early scratches, not many, but well, we'll look at the Lake Pick 5. And again, I'm not putting a ticket together necessarily, just tossing out some thoughts on the sequence, which this afternoon Gulfstream kicks off in the 6th race. Speaking of which, Aqueduct, which this winter has kind of bounced around post time. Aqueduct's post time today is 12:40, and at Gulfstream, they're pretty much locked into 12:20. So 12:20 this afternoon, Gulfstream, 12:40, Aqueduct. The 6th race, there is a scratch. Flogo, the number 9 horse, is out. I have 4, 8, 7, and 2 in race 6. We're looking at maiden specials going a 1-turn mile. Go Amy on top. Irod Ortiz back in town, back on the east coast of Florida. He's on board for Bob Bona. This horse dropped in for a tag last time and tossed in the best effort so far. That was back in September, though, so there's a little bit of a layoff, but this is the kind who I say often, lightly raced 2-year-old, take some time off, they come back, they showed a little something, so they have some experience, get some time off, they can come back and improve. If that's the case here, a little bit of a price going could be interesting. Second slot into Royalty, Bill Mott trainee, put in a decent looking career debut. Buy into Mischief. Um, Junior Alvarado was on board for the debut. He's back now, being a newly turned 3-year-old. This one gets Lasix. So there's some things to say. Hey, this one may benefit from the debut and roll forward. And then Madam Opus, who is the 9 to 5 morning line favorite. Chad Brown, Tyler Gaffleone on board by Practical Joke. They paid $700,000 for this horse at Ocala March. That's one of my concerns, and I have the horse down in the third spot as the favorite. With these connections and some decent workouts and pacing, may wind up being the one to beat and run very well. But typically, when connections buy these horses at the 2-year-old sales, typically they show up sometime in the summer, late summer, fall. So that this one's getting a little bit of a delayed start is a slight concern. I have the horse in the mix, and again, I wouldn't talk anyone out of it, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a good performance. Regabuff, the number 2 horse, goes out for Todd Fletcher, first time out with Curlin. That one is perhaps intriguing as well. Ken McPeak is a second-time starter, but I think there'll be a big price given what we saw in the debut. But it was turf, and it's one of those where you wonder, we want to get the horse started, maybe a little bit of a trip. So it was a 2-turn turf race, and the horse showed nothing, but now they get the 1 turn on the dirt. I looked at United Forever, the 3-horse, didn't quite pull the trigger, but again, Blue Sayas on board, could be interesting, but I have a 4, 8, 7, and 2. 7th race at Gulfstream. We're on the synthetic for lower level, $10,000 claimers. In the 7th, and let me see, we do have a scratch of the number 4, Oxymore, but I have it 9, 2, 3, and 10. I'm going to put Drop Kick Murphy on top. Victor Barbosa, trainee, nice winner, 3 back, was claimed out of that one, followed up with a close place 4th finish. Then a nice little 3rd place, and was claimed out of that one. So now in the Barbosa barn, he does well off the claim. And this one just has some nice early positional speed, seems to be in good form. I think an absolute player in here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this one. We're 3-1 on the morning line. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one take some action. Albeit Japard, the 2-horse, 5-2, the slight favorite over my top pick on the morning line. That one has Irad Ortiz, so you're going to get some of the Irad Ortiz money there. Interesting to see how these two shake out odds-wise and how close they are. If they separate, and if the Irad horse does take money and you get that 3-1 on Drop Kick Murphy, I think there's value there. But Japard, another one claimed last time out, another one that has early speed. Dropkick Murphy has kind of positional speed, not maybe front end speed. I think Japard has more of the, I'm going to try to steal it on the front end kind of speed. And at 5.5 on the synthetic, that may be very dangerous. Ready for a fight in the 3rd spot. Marty Drexler, trainee, comes down from Woodbine, was in another barn up at Woodbine, but comes down to run on the synthetic down at Gulfstream. And Marty Drexler has been doing this for the past, I don't know, 2-3 years anyway, and typically has been doing all right. Tyler Gaffleone is on board. I would expect this one to offer up a good performance. 8 going on the morning line too, so there's certainly a little bit of value to potentially be had. In the 7th at Gulfstream, 9, 2, 3, and 10. 8th race this afternoon. We're looking at optional claimers on winners 2 other than. And this one, they're on the grass sprinting 5 furlongs, 5, 4, 7, and 1. I'm going to put Tiffany Gold on top. Victor Barbosa, trainee, laid off from August at Saratoga until early August, until middle of October. So a little bit of a layoff there. Came back, ran fourth. It was a decent race, and then followed that up in November with a nice win. So I think this horse has appreciated the return to Gulfstream. I think this horse appreciated that little late summer break, and now his third start back and improving nicely. Um, and I could see stringing a couple of wins together here. Band on a Run. Being on a run, it's Christoph Clement and Irad Ortiz, and just because of that, this horse is obviously going to get attention 3-1 on the morning line. But hasn't been seen since October of 2023, so that's a long time on the sidelines. Debuted, first two starts of the career were for maiden tags, so they weren't necessarily showing a lot of ambition for a horse that had attracted some attention. But you know what? That's interesting. I was going to say it attracted some attention at a sale. It looks like maybe this horse went in the sale after the first three. And yeah, that's interesting. So that's very interesting now that I think about it. This horse had 3 runs. Goes into, it looks like the Watermakers, one of those digital sales, attracts over $300,000, and then is on the sideline for over a year. So being on the run, again, with the connections, come on, Irod, and what we've seen so far in the career, that was going to be interesting. But I have a feeling a shorter price than maybe interesting warrants. So, this could be, the one to watch on the afternoon and just see how it plays out. And interesting is probably the operative word. So, Band on the Run in my mix. But again, you can kind of look at it with the long layup. Third spot, Bustin' Bullet. Sappy Joseph runner, nice win, 2 back for an optional 25 condition. Then bounces up to this optional 62 condition, 62,500 condition, and once an okay third. So at a similar event last time, ran third after having shown plenty of early foot. That was back in October. So there's a little bit of a layout there, but Sappy Joseph, it's Tyler Gatlio, a horse with some talent, and more importantly, at the 5 furlongs on the turf, a horse with some early speed. So that was interesting. Sol Hope is another Sappy horse, the one horse on the inside coming out of a win that I think you have to pay attention to. So in the 8th at Gulfstream, again, with the interesting Band on a Run, the number 4 horse in there, and 5, 4, 7, and 1. 9th race, and in the 8th, the 8 on the table and 10 trumpets are out. In the 9th, number 1 Pure Class is out, and in the 9th race, I'm 6, 3, 7, and 2. Optional claimant on the ones, the 2 other than going 7 on the main track, and 6 Suncroft on top for me. Brad Cox runner, a couple of wins, a couple of in the money finishes in 4 starts so far. 2 at Turfway, 1 at Keeneland, last time out at Churchill. So it's been racing up in Kentucky. It's a Kentucky bred chasing that, the purses that get enhanced a little bit for the local breds, as it were. It's a Judmont runner, again from Brad Cox, Tyler Gatlio on board. The knock here, or the question mark here, the last race was in June. But again, this is another one of those horses that lately raced, get some time off, maybe to come back better. That said, I am far more interested in that type of horse when we're talking a lately raised 2-year-old or maybe a 3-year-old. This horse is now 5 years old. So, the career started 2 years ago in December, late in the 3-year-old season. Then the 3 starts February, April, June of last year, 4-year-old. Now a long layout, now comes back as a 5-year-old. I have the horse on top, but it's 9 to 5. If this is one of those that the betting public crushes, because this horse absolutely might need a race. But I have Suncroft on top with, as if it's not apparent, some trepidation. Second spot, Concrete Glory, Sappy Joseph runner. Clearly more recency from this one, having raced in the middle of November with a nice win. restarts back as a win as well. They bookend a third place finish. So a horse that's in good form. It's sappy. It's IRAD. Uh, Another race will be interested to see how the betting public shakes out. Brian Nadeau has on the morning line Sunflop a slight 9-5 favorite versus Concrete Glory at 2-1. Concrete Glory on the recency and IRAD might wind up being the favorite in there. Caramel Chip in the third slot. I just thought there was enough there to tilt in that direction. Last time Outright Stakes Company, maybe a little overmatched there. But you go down the page and this horse can throw good races and has here at Gulfstream in the past. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one. Louis Saez on board run well and likely offer a little more value in the top two. In the ninth at Gulfstream, 6, 3, 7, and 2. 10th race at Gulfstream today, 10th and final. Maiden $35,000 claimers. They're going to go a mile on the turf course. 4, 8, 10, and 6. Corruption on top. Mark Cassie Franey. Mark's having a nice little meet down there, and he picks up IRAD to ride this horse, who in the last couple of races, the only couple of races, has really not shown a lot. But they were against Maiden Special Company. Started the career in the barn of Todd Fletcher. Last time out for Mark, came down to Florida, ran on the turf in a maiden special, but it was at a mile. So you had the trip, you just had a different class level. Tossed in a number that mixes it up with this bunch. So you look at that number, and you toss in the class drop, and you toss in IRAD. It all adds up to, I'll take a shot there at 5-1. Second spot, War Officer, goes out for Todd Fletcher. Hasn't been seen since March of last year. Went to top pick, was made special weight to maiden claiming. First time gelding symbol here. Concern for this one is you come back after a long layoff like that. Again, hasn't been seen since March, and then comes back, drop down into a claimer and kind of going down to the mid-level, as it were. So I'm a little bit concerned there, but certainly what we've seen so far from this one says if he comes back ready to roll, Louis Saez on board, does make some sense. And then in the third slot, number 10, Doctor's Orders, another Mark Cassie trainee. This one with Dylan Davis on board, who again is since arriving and kind of wrapping up another New York season-long title, arrives down in Florida towards the beginning of the year, and so far has done very well. But he's on board this one for Mark Cassie off a nice second-place finish, a near miss up at Woodbine in June. So there's a layup to be concerned about there. And like War Officer now comes back for the reduced tag. So they both have, there's enough talent there that it's hard to ignore them. But the situation class-wise is enough that I think you legitimately can ask questions. And you can look around a little bit in the field too. Mucho Macho Mac seems like an interesting player off a decent try last time and has more recency than a couple of those others that we talked about. So the interesting way to wrap up the Sunday afternoon card with the 10th of Gulfstream, 4, 8, 10, 6 for me. All right, there's some ideas at Gulfstream. And again, we'll be back in about an hour or so with OTB Live for Sunday afternoon, where we will, in fact, look at Gulfstream and Aqueduct. We will have Tampa in the mix as well, some third round. So should be a fun afternoon. Looking forward to it. Hopefully you are too. Don't forget, you can stop by the Clubhouse Racebook today if you'd like to watch some football action and horse racing action. Come down, enjoy the company. We're having a nice crowd down here on Saturdays and Sundays. Grab a little lunch, nice menu from our food vendor, Black Bear. So keep that in mind as well. And again, don't forget, a week from yesterday, Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, an Ira calendar giveaway. You want to keep reminding people because I know a lot of people like the calendar. And you get yours this coming Saturday, right here at Clubhouse Racebook. First 75 paid admissions will get a 25 in the calendar. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Seth Merrow in on a Sunday morning, heading into a Sunday afternoon. As always, really appreciate you tuning in. And I will happily look for you and appreciate it even more this afternoon. OTB Live, back in again about an hour or so. 12:20 post time kicks us off at Gulfstream, 12:40 at Aqueduct. So again, I'll be back on a little over an hour or so. We'll see you then.
Clear.
March 29th. You're watching OTB.